Okay, a mouse slip. Instead of me going f5, it landed f6. Fortunately, I won. Meaning f6 and f5 have different result. f6, draw, f5, win. And it sounds like impossible because black has 2 pawns, but that is the reality. So we have to analyze the two lines. Let's go first f5. If the white will go here, e3, you all you have to do is to push it. And how can white prevent this pass pawn? Also, how can white protect the g4 once the king move around going here and capture, right? So white is forced to capture the f5. G takes f5, king takes f5, and king e3. The goal of black here is to land here, h2, and assist the pawn. That is the ideal position. To land here, h2 or f2, it really depends on white's move. And then you have to assist your pawn. Imagine this position. Your king, pawn, white's king. So that is the ideal position to win the king pawn versus king. So let's continue. King g4. You will not oppose this one. Okay? Don't oppose. Because you have your extra pawn, you have to move in a good square, which is h3 going to h2. King f2, king h3, king g1. What will be your move? King g3 or g4? You all have to do is to count. Let's say you're gonna push your pawn going to g2. Will that be stalemate or no way for white to stalemate that position? Let's count. g4, king h1, opposition, g3, king g1, and here g2. There's no way now for white to go back here because that's illegal. King to f2 and king to h2. This is the ideal position to win the game. Of course, wherever the white king will go, for example here, win. So that is useless to continue. So what's the difference of f6? f6 will give white opportunity to oppose you. Opposition will give the one opposing an authority to stay. So the white king is the one opposing the black king, so the white will stay here and preventing the opposing king, which is the black here, to go in the right or target square. The target square of black here is to go f5 and attacking, of course, the g4, given a chance. So let's continue by moving king f7. This is bad move. This f5 is bad move. King f3 is the good move. Why king f5 is bad move? Because after king e7, where this white king will go? King to e4, and now black is the one opposing the white king. If you're gonna go king d4, this is the story that we had earlier. So black just did some triangulation here. But of course, after f6, king e4, king move here. King f3 is the key move, not king f5, distant opposition to maintain the draw. If you're gonna go king e8, of course, opposition again. Let's say king d7, king d3, distant opposition. Let's say I want to go king c7, inviting the white to keep opposing the black, but white will just go king to e3 and will wait black to land here on d file, any of the squares, and for example d6 and then king d4, king e6, king e4. What happened if black would go f5, check, capture, king to f6? So white has no way to protect this one, right? White can go e3 or f3, but let's go e3 and let's wait to capture and then oppose. So what black would do? g4, king to g3. This is the technique for king and pawn versus king if you want to draw this kind of endgame, especially if you're playing with the white here. If the black king or opposing king is at the back of the pawn, in this case, the black king is at the back of the pawn here, white will not leave these two squares. The only time the white will go h2 or f2 if the black king is here on h4 and f4. You gotta wait for the king to land beside the pawn and oppose. For example, king to g5, king to g2 if king h4, king h2. If king f4, then king f2. If we will continue g3, again, the black is at the back of the pawn, king to g2. King g4, king to g1. If h3, king h1. Because every time The black will push the pawn. That is a stalemate.